members have been bought by developers. The developers get to pick and choose every single council member, and that, they get their way with the land in District 2. They get to put up their high-rise luxury apartments and push out the neighbors and push us out of our homes. When what we really need, they get to put up gas stations and car washes everywhere with no concern for what we actually need. They're making us a pit stop, not a destination that we deserve to be. We deserve things that are for us, that are going to help us, that we can work in. Movie theaters, like I was talking about, the shopping centers, bowling alleys. These are things that my kids have said, we're only out here because we don't have anything else to do. Where do you want us to go? And I think that's one easy thing, is that kind of development.
All right, thank you, Mr. McKee Rodriguez. Ms. Brown?
I'm sorry, I was distracted there. But one of the things that has been kind of curious to me, I do want to see the neighborhoods, the neighborhoods development, but we also have to help the people that are here already and see what's going on with their houses, their homes, how they can have that pride in what they value. If they value it, I think the more you have, the more rental income you have versus home ownership, there's a lack of, they don't care because it's not theirs. And so we got to get back. I know, generations before us, had homes. Yes, I came from being my mom on assisted living to homeowners to me being a homeowner, because that's how I was raised, that it was there. I'm glad that it's there for the people who need it. I want to encourage the people to have more.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I am impressed with the slate of candidates available to District 2 this cycle, definitely. All right, next we'll go with Mr. Dawkins.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope I can address this. First of all, I think this is a question that really helps to define and separate us. I am for development. I definitely am for development in our area. You can really take and make affordable housing and make it in such a way where you're not pushing people out of their homes. There was a program in the city of Pittsburgh where they took a place like King William District and put low-income people in there with a federal program called Hope 6. And the way they did it, which I thought was very novel, and I think that all cities around America should adopt it, is in a way where you're not making it affordable housing, you're making the housing affordable. So those banks and different people that work with affordable housing, they're buying down the rent as opposed to trying to
right, that's time.
Let the person pay a lower amount of money for it.
Thank you, Mr. Dawkins. Mr. Booker.
Tic-tac-toe here. What I believe when it comes to for the housing, I think it needs to be creative. The place where I live right now is an abandoned warehouse. We have several elementary, middle school, high school buildings that are vacant. That is an opportunity for folks that are in need of housing. They could go there. So understandably, if you're in your home and if you're over 65, your taxes are reduced. If you are prior military, your taxes, depending on your disability, if you're 100% disability on your military, you don't pay tax. So it's a knowledge gap that we want to consider.
I was just going to try to do the self-cleaning.
Excuse me. Whoever is there, you need to mute.
I need to learn how that works.
And I believe that's Cassandra Littlejohn.
Zoom call. How you doing?
Hi, you need to mute yourself. All right, I'll give you extra time.
So yeah, again, it just depends on the creativity, this process on how do we handle housing. There are some opportunities, in my building as an example, who would ever thought you would have this many housing opportunities in an abandoned warehouse? These opportunities, along with developers, are going to be required if we're going to take care of this community. We have assets, let's use them.
All right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Booker. And we'll go to Mr. Darden.
Thank you. So just trying to just bring something fresh, because again, everybody has some great ideas. For me, the number one thing is inclusion. So what does that mean? In District 2, homeowner associations are next to non-existent. Neighborhood associations, when it comes to the engagement with leadership, they talk to them, but they really don't give them that. They don't allow them to be the voice that we need. We've had homeowner associations, neighborhood associations have to take the city to court to sue them to get their voice being heard. So inclusion is one. Inclusion on another level, our boards and commissions. Who do we have on, the zoning board, the housing boards, all these different boards? So inclusion. And I'll end with a third inclusion. Just the community as a whole. How often does the elected leadership go to the community and ask them what do they want? How often do we have town halls outside of when we're running for city council? So inclusion would be to add to everything everybody's saying, inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Darden. Mr. Clark.
The way that you get the much needed development while tackling the issues of gentrification, in my belief, for this. One, you have to create 10-year to 15-year tax freezes for the citizens that already own houses in District 2 so that their taxes don't continue to shoot up with the development that's going on around you. You then shift that cost onto the developers that are building up the new buildings. If they're coming in and they're building and they're making the money off the district, they're the ones that should incur those extra taxes. On top of that, you provide tax incentives for those developers that are going to come in and build and provide affordable housing. And you provide tax incentives for those that are going to create jobs and allow their development companies to hire people within the district to rebuild the district. And what that does is it also creates money for the district because the residents are able to feed off the development that's happening instead of what goes on now where outsiders come in and feed off of us.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clark. Ms. Cleaver.
All right, so we want to develop it. We do not want to push people out. So yes, we work with third parties, other business, big corporations to offset extra prices and high rising taxes. We actually work with developers and actually talk about developers want to make money. And yes, they've used District 2 as we're going to stop, build and go, but they want money. So if they can talk to somebody and know these are the buildings that we want to refurbish, these are the businesses we want to bring back, these things we can get you your money back and you can make your money where you're happy, the community's happy. So again, including everybody in the process, working with developers from the beginning to the end and actually creating things in the district that people want and that are affordable for people to use. And I do want you guys to know that affordable housing is being built right now in District 2 on several streets. And we're actually working with the companies, some developers to actually develop some housing for homeless people. So the work is out there being done. People are working towards bringing affordable housing to District 2. It is happening right now.
Thank you, Ms. Cleaver. And finally, Ms. Villanueva.
Thank you. So my opinion is that balanced zoning, education, and outreach, those are the things that are needed for our neighbors. We have such a vast variety of neighbors. We don't ever want to put anybody out, but we also need to stop the inconsistent zoning. What can happen in District 2 isn't happening in District 7 or District 3 or others. So we need to have that consistency with our policy. The current neighborhood improvements are historically underutilized. And I'm talking about those programs that the city has that are already established, money to help rebuild and help support our neighbors. None of our neighbors, at least in my street, I live next to a business and I have 3 short-term rentals that are on the other side of me, which is completely unheard of. And I can't get answers from anybody. No one should have to live through that. While I am pro-business, I think there is a significant balance that we need to keep to help everyone. Thank you.
And I think we have time for 2 more questions. It is so great, all of this information. I know the students are enjoying it and all the students are proud of all of the candidates. So here are the last 2 questions. The first one is going to be, how would you evolve the vaccine delivery system in San Antonio, but most importantly in your district if you are elected?
These questions are very timely as well. So we will start this question with Mr. Darden.
So I've been reading the questions and a couple of people asked platform questions. So for my first, I guess, platform priority, the first plan is the first 100 days addressing all the COVID issues. So whether it's the vaccine, whether it's PPP, PPE, whether it's workforce, housing, addressing all those issues the first 100 days. But again, the council person can't do it themselves. The council office can't do it themselves. So again, leveraging nonprofits, leveraging the faith-based community, leveraging other organizations, and getting everybody on board to ensure that all areas of the community are being reached. Because one person can't do it. One entity can't do it. And I think that's what happens. We get into these elected capacities and it's all ours, and we exclude people as opposed to including people, and it goes back to inclusion. And so that's how I would address that, the first 100 days. If anybody is to say, well, why not now? Because I'm not the council person. So hopefully we can support the council person in doing that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Darden. All right, we'll come over to Ms. Cleaver.
So the biggest thing with COVID-19 vaccines and everything that has to do with it is that you can't do or provide something that you don't have. So right now, the city is really struggling in even getting vaccines. Now, there's different issues of storing vaccines. One of them needs refrigeration. One of them doesn't need much. So it's not just about not giving it or not putting it in an area because they don't want to. Now, of course, we always have to question that as well. But we also have to know the facts behind how the whole thing works. So first we have to make sure that we are working with other people and other government officials, not just City of San Antonio, but Texas state government and on and so forth, to make sure that we're getting the vaccines and everything that we need. Then we work to make sure that we have mobile sites and using our community centers. Our community centers are key. They are next to everyone that we need in our community, in our neighborhoods. We need to start making those the hub. And so we need to be able to have these open sites for and information so people know where to go and how to get things done. But right now, the waiting list, things like that, a little bit too much anxiety.
Thank you, Ms. Cleaver. Ms. Villanueva.
Thank you. Well, I definitely agree with Ms. Cleaver, and the community centers have not been utilized and they should have. In addition to that, over the last 6 months, I've been reaching out and almost to the point of harassing some of our leaders at the city and county level about mobile vaccines. And I'll need to share a story that was recently published by the national news. Philadelphia and Atlanta are using mobile vaccines to get to our communities that need these the most. And it's important that we touch base with our neighbors. You can't just get them out. I have done personally an investigation because I have found out that so many people that should not be receiving the vaccine, that are under 40 years old and healthy, have been receiving it because of friendships. We need to focus on the neighbors that are in need. There's a vulnerable population with the disabled and with our elderly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Villanueva. Mr. Clark.
Yeah, COVID response is something very important, and then so is getting the vaccine. I actually work with the CREC, the Community COVID Response Team. And one of the things that I would like to see done differently is we need to get people trained, more people trained that can actually administer these doses. And the more people that we quickly train to be able to administer, then we're able to actually expand the amount of centers that we can start giving these doses out at. And I agree with Mr. Darden. We have to get the faith-based, we have to get the nonprofits and other businesses that are on the ground that can help with that expansion. But we also have to make sure that we focus also on getting mobile sites, because I like to focus on those that are most vulnerable, which are usually our senior citizens and our disabled citizens who sometimes do not have access to transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Mr. Dawkins.
This is actually, hopefully you can hear me. Actually, I think this has become a political issue. It's become a political issue because originally it was not, there was no plan from the federal government as to how to roll this out. Then you get down to the state. The state governor has decided, for whatever reason, San Antonio, we can't distribute if we don't have it, okay? And we don't have it. They're giving it to Houston, they're giving it to Dallas, and San Antonio's not getting it. We could probably get it out. I think our mayor and some other people have been doing a good job with what they have, but they're the ones who are clamoring and asking for more vaccines. So even if we had the more vaccines, yeah, we could put it in all these different places, but this has been a political issue that has not been solved, or again, cannot be solved at the local level unless we have the product.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dawkins. Mr. Booker.
First of all, what I would want to make sure of that it is an effective vaccine. What I've learned, we have a program called Black Med Texas, and we have certain things that are catered for African Americans in particular. So I would want to ensure that it works. Based on that, I would like to see the proof in the pudding. And I say proof in the pudding, none of the Spurs are saying they're vaccinated. None of the Dallas Cowboys are saying they're being vaccinated. These are some high profile individuals, they're not being vaccinated. What's going on with that? Secondly, like the city clerk, I would like to see mobile units. She's gone out with the mobile unit going door to door or going from street to street. So I would actually tackle street by street, touch every single one with a mobile unit for those that are interested. If they're not interested, we can at least mark that street off as we've already touched them. Touching the people, talking to them is going to be what is required. We cannot say that we're touching the district if we are not touching every single one. And that's how we do it, person to person.
All right, Mr. McKee Rodriguez.
Yes, so I'm going to be a parrot, but hopefully I could be a pretty one. The East Side has continued to be underserved in this pandemic. A map of San Antonio vaccination shows that an overwhelming majority of vaccines have been distributed on the North Side, despite the overwhelming majority of deaths happening on the Southwest and East Sides. As councilmen all address this disparity by calling for an actual COVID-19 waitlist system that isn't tied to our ability to be by a phone 24/7. The majority of vaccination sites on the East Side are also currently being offered through clinics, health centers, other facilities that the Black community have historically been gatekept from. We need vaccinations administered, like we said, in churches, community, and senior centers. And if supply reaches the threshold, we could even have door-to-door vaccinations. Long-term and short-term solutions are going to be necessary to bring our community back from this pandemic. And it's wise to strategize what our long-term solution will be. Families just need help and aid now. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. McKee Rodriguez. And finally, Ms. Brown.
Well, I think one of the problems is, getting the vaccines is an issue, but also having the manpower to distribute the vaccines. One of the things I think we don't, that the people, that have to handle it, disperse it, set it up, they already had like a full-time job. I have a friend that works at University Health. It's like they're trying to do their job. Now they have this thrown on them, but they don't have extra staff to handle this, so they're trying to do it along with what all they're doing. I have been trying to get a flu vaccination drive since November, but because of COVID, because they were saying that the vaccines for the Black community was really, really down, the numbers were down, but been trying to get that for months, but because of COVID, that kind of got bumped. It's not priority for them. One of the things we have to do is really get our Black community to accept and be willing to get the vaccine. I have gotten the vaccine. I'm a very young 52-year-old. I know I look really healthy, but I have underlying conditions that qualified me to get it. So we got to encourage them.
Time. Everybody, please don't shoot the messenger or dislike the timekeeper, but I try to keep every body on schedule so that everyone will have the same amount of time. So the last question that is going to be asked of you, the student who asked this question, it's really a one-word answer, or maybe it's a sentence, but they're not asking you how you solve it. And I'm going to give everyone 30 seconds. The question is, what do you feel is the city's most pressing need? Not how you solve it, but what is the city's most pressing need? So I'm assuming by the student's question that this is something, if you're elected, you're going to be laser focused on it, because this is the city's most pressing need, or District 2's most pressing need. So I will turn it over to Judge Rangel. You're good at keeping everybody in order.
Thank you, Judge. All right, Ms. Brown, we're going to give you the opportunity to go first on this one.
You're muted.
I would say it's unity. We're all separate, but we're still all one, and we need to bring that together.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Dawkins.
Attracting businesses. The one reason why we can't get football teams or baseball teams is because we don't have enough businesses that can support that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Booker.
Improving, establishing standards, milestones, timelines, and then improving upon those standards, milestones, and timelines.
Thank you. Ms. Cleaver.
Well, for the city's most pressing need, I feel like bridging the gap. You cannot have DA, police, and all the different people who run our city who don't get along. And that's very hard to have the best interest of the people if the people who run the city can't even communicate. That's the city's biggest thing. The district is to make sure that our District 2 voice is being heard on our boards and our commissions. We have too many empty and wrong seated board and commission seats for us to truly be getting a District 2 voice of how our district should be running.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Villanueva.
Well, that's a tough one. So I'm going to have to say long-term strategic planning and communication.
Thank you. Mr. Clark.
What I say our most pressing issue is, and it's because of the climate that we're in right at this moment, is going to be our COVID-19 recovery. How do we get people recover from this situation? We're in unprecedented times. We have thousands of families set to be evicted and on the streets. We have CPS bills that are due to skyrocket. We have to figure out, how are we going to, as a city, recover? How are we as a district going to recover and make sure those families are kept protected and safe? Our seniors are not thrown out on the street. And that's what I see as right now our most pressing issue.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McKee Rodriguez.
I would say our most pressing issue right now is poverty and the opportunity gap that has strategically been placed on the east, west, and south sides. Every issue in San Antonio stems from our exploitation. We're just trying to survive, and it feels like right now we don't have the opportunity to, especially when our needs are not placed over the profits of developers and corporations.
Thank you, sir. And finally, Mr. Darden.
Yeah, I tried to put in the chat early just in case somebody wanted to steal my thunder. But just equity and resources. I'm 41 years old. I've been in the district for 4 decades, and the same needs have been in our district. Infrastructure, development in our housing, economic development, things like that. And when it comes to the city making those investments, they haven't been on a level of equity. So I think that's the biggest thing we need to address, so we can start seeing some growth and seeing some sustainability in that growth here in our communities.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Judge Rangel, thank you for inviting your students and co-hosting with me. It's been awesome. Everyone, you're free to unmute now, and I want you to unmute because I want you to thank all of the candidates with a round of applause for coming here tonight at 6 p.m. So let's give them a round of applause, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is
Everybody.
awesome. So this is what I want all of the candidates to do for me. All of my students have been told that they can get credit if they decide to work on your campaign with you. The reason why I picked District 2 was because there were a lot of candidates. So that gave the students a lot of opportunities to see everyone. So what I want you to do now, all of the candidates, if you will put your information in the chat box, and you will have students who will be contacting you. So I'm hoping that you let them really see the insides of how your campaign is running, because many of them want to be campaign managers. Some of them actually want to be city council members or get involved in politics. And for my class, and I know for Judge Ron Rangel's class, of course, I want them to know the book knowledge, but I want them to see exactly how it works so they can put it into action. So please put your email addresses and your contact information in there. And when my students do come, which I know they will come to work for you, if you would please sign off showing that they've actually worked for you and how you feel about their work, that would be greatly appreciated. And I want all the students to know that every candidate who was a candidate for District 2, and I believe there are 12 of them, all of them were invited to come here to speak to you tonight. And so these candidates showed up to speak with you, and I think they'll be able to tell you that campaigning is hard work and they have to be everywhere at one time. So we're happy that they chose UTSA and campaign and election law. So thank you, guys.
We want to pick their brains.
Thank you.
And Stephanie, I just have to say, you have one of my daughters in your class. And so I'm not going to say your name. I'm just going to give kisses. I love you, baby.
Okay. All right.
Let's give Judge Stephanie Boyd a big round of applause for putting this together and inviting all of us as well.
Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Professor.
Thank you.
Very much.
So